Shut up and sit down.
Greetings, fellow Earth travelers. Oblix here, coming at you today from Project Ozone Lite. How y'all doing today? So, last time, get suited up here, we worked on getting all these ores in the nether that our cows are producing back to the overworld. And as you can see, all of our drawers are empty. So, the import buses have done their job and drained the drawers dry. All those materials are now in the overworld. So what I want to do today is set it up so that we're pulling straight out of these casting tables and casting basins. You'll see that they're all just pretty much full, sitting here waiting for us to make use of them. So what I want to do is we're going to rip this out, this dense cable. All ripped out. Then we're going to rip out the import buses and the smart cables off of the drawers, because drawers aren't necessary anymore. And we're going to do the same thing up here. Okie dokie. Now that we have all this space cleared out to work with, we can come over here and take out all these drawers. Drawer, 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 drawer. We'll just go across the top and do these first. And of course, we're getting the upgrades are coming back to us as well. Now we're going to leave the tanks. You know, they're still necessary at this point in time. There we go. So all the drawers are gone. So now the fluid comes in from wherever the cows are. The lower cows come into these tanks. The upper cows come into these tanks. They're piped. The fluid is piped into these casting tables or casting basins, depending on the fluid. And it's turned into ingots. Now we want to just suck the ingots straight into the cable. So what I want to do is get rid of this drawer stuff. Don't need the seared stone. I don't need the golden chest. And just kind of cleaning up the inventory here of all the garbage we don't need. And we don't need these orange cables or the magma cream or that. Or that. Or those. Or that. We'll hang on to that for the time being. Okay. Now, let's see what we can do. Now, if we come down here and we say, hey, Mr. Basin. Now these should have a Ender.io conduit running to the basin. You notice how the ones from the top have the cable coming down, but the ones from the bottom do not have a cable. So we need to add those back, and it basically coming out of this tank and into here. But let's go ahead and set up for our inputs. So there's an input. But see, here's the issue. If we put a dense cable here, well, we can't put a dense cable here. So if we put our inputs here, like so, we can't put dense cable here. So we're going to have to work out how to do that. Now, we can, just like we... Ooh, I put that one on the bottom. I didn't mean to do that. What we would have to do is run the dense cable at this layer right here where my head is, and then run smart cables all the way, you know, for each one of these up. Oh, must have broke that. Is it in my inventory? It is. It is. Oopsie. Put that back. There we go. So then I would have to run smart cable up from the dense cable into these import buses. And then I would have to put cable anchors in between every one of these so they don't connect. Or I could run 8 across like this and then down into the dense cable and do that for every 8 with an anchor in between. Ugh. Kind of a hassle, to be honest. I think it may be a better idea to not do this. I think what we'll do instead is... let's see, this isn't necessary anymore. We'll rip that out. I think what we'll do instead is open up our handy dandy schmandy device and search for conduit. Bada bing, a bada boom. Like so. And let us run conduit all the way back. Now let's see if I can line myself up reasonably so we can do this quickly. There we go. Now we can check from up here to make sure we got everything. Looks like we didn't miss anything. Awesome. Now we can get rid of our extra, well, I'll just put it right here. Now I'm going to search conduit again because I want to get one of these guys, a Conduit Probe. And then I want to set this conduit the way I want it. So I want it to be extract always. And then I want to put this guy in the right mode. So we want to right click on the conduit. Oops, I was shift right clicking. Oops. Damn it. Put it in the yellow mode. There we go. Copied conduit settings. Man, that was tough. So if you shift and roll your mouse wheel, it switches modes. See how it's going from blue to yellow? So the yellow puts it in the copy conduit mode. Now, if you'll notice, if I right click on this guy, he is not set to active. But if I put him in blue mode and then now he's always active. So right click him while he's in the yellow mode. If we check it, now see it's always active. So what you can do is just kind of walk down the line, right click them, and they're going to take the same settings. Of whatever settings you copied will be transferred to that conduit. So it's just a quick way to set a whole bunch of conduits. If you need them all set exactly the same, it's a quick way to set a whole bunch the exact same. So boop, 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 boop. All right. Now everything is set to output and to send the items out, and they're active all the time. So let's get a chest. Well, a golden chest will be fine. And we're going to put it right there. And then we're going to set this one to insert. So So you're going to see it just start filling up with material. Every one of these is now piping its material into this chest. So we want to pop that off. That little bit of dense cable there. We want to pop an import bus on here. Right there, like so. Now we can pop some acceleration cards in here if we so choose. We have plenty, so why not slap some in there? That'll let it collect quicker, and then we're just going to replace that dense cable with a smart cable. And it'll connect into our dense cable here. We'll see it in a second. Take a channel. There we go. It just took a channel, and it sucked all the items out. So pretty much as quick as the item conduits can put items in, it's sucking the items out. And it's going to drain all of these tanks as quickly as it can. But you notice it's still every other one because we never turned back on those tanks from the bottom. We need to still go do that. So let's get our conduit again. Yeah, remember we never ran conduit from these tanks back into our basins down here. So we're going to come over here and we're just going to go bam. Now what I'm going to do is run through and just set them all in place, and then I'll come back and do the settings on them. That is completely wrong, Obelix. What are you doing? So we're just going to come through. Bappity, bappity, bappity. I like how you can see through the tanks. That's kind of cool. To the materials on the opposite side. See how it's kind of showing up like right there where my mouse cursor is? That's kind of cool. Come here. Get over here. Scorpion from Mortal Kombat reference check. Okay. Now we go all the way back over here. We got our handy dandy conduit probe. And put it in yellow. And then let's set these as we wish them to be. So extract always. And you guys let me put Conduit Probe on here. Now, why'd y'all let me do that? You know that was wrong. You know that's a liquid. Why y'all let me put Item Conduit on here? And I can't take you guys anywhere. Can't take y'all nowheres. Y'all supposed to keep me in line now. We're kind of done with all this stuff. We put it back. So let's look conduit again. And that's pressurized fluid. Can we make, there's a better conduit. Let's see. For fluid, we can make ender fluid conduit. We got enough material for this? Heck yeah. Well, let's do that then. Let's make the good stuff. We ain't got to be all cheap. So let's just pop these in, pop them in, pop it in, pop it in. Seems like we've done this before. Possibly just a few minutes ago. With the wrong conduit. Almost done. There we go. Now we can set this to extract always, insert, and this basin right here, should you see it up in the top right up there? It's starting to fill up, so it's doing its job. So let's get our conduit probe again and shift click, and we get copied conduit settings. Now if we just click, you see how it changed from the double arrow to the single arrow? You got the double arrows, single arrow, double arrow, single arrow. And you see it instantly starting to pull out of this tank. So, or trying to. It's actually just filling up the conduit right now. It needs to, we got to switch these here in a second. But let's say this is just a quick way to change all your conduits at one time. Real quick and easy. So now we run back down here because we've already set this first one. We'll come over here and shift click, conduit setting copied, and then we go click and we see these lighten up with the single arrow showing, hey, I'm putting all that fluid in. Done, done, done. So I think this is going to work better than having a whole bunch of input buses. Well, we could have done it that way. It just would have been kind of convoluted and a lot harder to set up because of all the cable anchors and things we would have needed to make it work. Now you can see every one of them is up and running, all filling up and sending their goodies that direction. You will see this guy not running. That's because this was where the destabilized redstone cow was, but I moved him over here because I wanted the liquid. And we still got a little ways to go to fill up that gargantuan drum. That sucker's big. But, yeah, same with this guy. Let's see. Yeah, the gelid cryothium. We were using a lot of those to make our power cables, the destabilized redstone and the gelid cryothium. So I just moved that destabilized redstone cow over. So that's why this was making redstone blocks with the destabilized redstone cow. We can always put him back over there if we need more redstone. Or we could grow it with mystical agriculture. Either way, doesn't matter. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But you see, items popping in, items pulling out. They're going straight into our AE2 system back in the overworld. Nice! So let us get rid of that and that. And let's type in cobblestone. And we're going to get this. We're going to make one last trip down here and clean up this floor because it is nasty. Nasty, nasty. We're actually walking on the ceiling of the floor below us. So just pop all these in like a so. I know I usually do like this kind of piddly work off camera, but I figured you guys might want to stay and watch for once. Kind of how I work through how to do all this stuff. Boop, boop, and done. Nice. So there you go. All the goodies being sucked up. Now, I'll tell you what, let's head on back to the overworld and take a look at our winnings. Let me get some bread because I'm getting a little hungry. Nummy, 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 nummy. And head on back to the Purple Dome. Whooshity whoosh. And here we are in our fabulous Purple Dome. And here's all those glorious resources showing back up in here. Ooh, look at all that nice iron. We have 27,000 iron blocks. Holy cripes, that's a lot of iron blocks. 18,000 gold blocks. 16,000 lead blocks. I mean, we are rolling in it, guys. Just rolling in it. Osmium, 19,000 osmium blocks. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good. Now we're growing diamonds. Remember, we got 5,000 diamond blocks. 37,000 redstone blocks. I mean, yeah, we got some material. 53,000 glowstone. I think we're okay. I think we can check off resource collection on our bucket list and move on towards other endeavors. So what I want to do now is we built. Now, if I can remember where the stupid thing is, can't really remember my own base. Is it right? Oh, all the lag in the world. So yes, this would be it. There we go. Our Mekanism reactor. And look at this baby just cranking. He's a happy little reactor. He is producing almost 800,000 RF per tick. And we don't even have him cranked up. We could totally crank him up way hotter than this. This is, you know, just maintaining our base. No problem. But what I want to do is capture this power into a big old honking battery. You know, for just because, why wouldn't you? I mean, he definitely produces enough power to maintain our base without needing a big battery, but, you know, why wouldn't you, right? You know, just sometimes you build things just because you can. So we're going to want to build our, well, correction, we've already built a whole bunch of these induction casings. We are going to build an induction matrix from Mekanism. Now this is going to require a metric ton of materials. This thing is beastly. It is one of the biggest, baddest power storage facilities in the game. By a long shot. Like, nothing even remotely comes close. Dragon Ball from Draconic Evolution? No, sorry. Kid stuff. Little infants build it out of mashed potatoes. Now, this thing is beastly. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not knocking Draconic Evolution, but, you know, everybody kind of gives this thing a little bit of poop. Nobody really understands it, but it is a serious power storage solution. Now, to build it full, to build it upright, it's going to take a little bit of effort. It is not something that you go into lightly. I think we'll build it right here. Is that? I try to measure things out here and just kind of get an idea for where I do want it to be, so that it kind of lines up with a little bit of symmetry, maybe. And let's see here. Okay. And what we're going to do is get the casing in place. Now, so there's our center block. This will be the top. Now this guy he's a square, and you build him as a giant square, and it's an 18 by 18 by 18 square is the largest one you can build. You can build them smaller. The smallest one you can build is a 3 by 4 by 3. One like this. So this is the tiniest one you can build. And then there's some parts that need to go in here, as Dadcraft would say. We'll put those in later, and then you just take your top and you close it in, and this is an induction matrix once we put the parts inside. This is the smallest induction matrix you can build. The largest, again, is 18 by 18, and of course, go big or go home, we're building the big boy, the big dog. So there's one. So 18 would be 9 on either side. So that is not centered. 9. And then this will make sure I got it right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So it is, because it's an 18 by 18 and not a 19 by 19 or 17 by 17, it's going to be one block off center. So, yeah, deal with that. So I'm going to off center it biased in that direction because that's catty corner to our road. So we're counting this as the center, so this will be my side with 9. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nice. Fits in perfectly. And then this will be our side with 8 because we're counting that first block as 1. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. Excellent. Now we just fill in the entire cube. So we got a tool for that. A wand of wandiness. And we're going to go this way. And 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Nice. And we're going to do this side. I don't want to go one too far by accident. There we go. That should be an 18 by 18 grid. Very, very nice. Now we want to take walls down 18 blocks. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Now, measure twice, cut once, right? So let's double check it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, I think I lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Good. So if we follow that for our template, we're going to be fine. So we're just going to go up to the top here. So we can follow along, and we're just going to go ba-doo, ba-doo, ba-doo with our wand of wandiness. And one more. Nice. Now we're going to come down and build a line straight up like so, and build this wall. Oh, I'm so used to playing the Final Frontier. I've really gotten into that pack, and I've been playing it a lot lately that I'm used to it reloading my items in my hand, and Project Ozone does not do that. I had to actually shift to the items myself. Oh, heavens to Murgatroyd. I had to do things manually. The humanity. Alright, so we're going to pop these in. Like so. Boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Boop. Nice. Bring this over. And one more. Hey, come on, click. There we go. Counting and building blocks with obliques. There we go. And run this guy across, and I'm completely out of casings. And you can see I'm not even close to done. Y'all thought I had too many, huh? Y'all were like, oh, I don't know why you got 12,000 of those things. I don't think you got any. Why did you got so many? I need more. Yep. Need more. Need many, many more. Let's see. Probably, I don't know. Rough guessing it here? Yes, please. Make with the casings. So the system's going to start producing them, and it's pretty darn quick. It is going to have to craft a bunch of the alloys and things like that that are necessary. In induction, if we look at there, these are all our induction pieces parts. So the casing is an energy tablet surrounded by steel ingots. And then we've got the ports, we're going to need a few of these. At least one for input and one for output. It could be more. Are the Elite controllers. We built these 100 times. And the induction casings. But then we get into the induction cells and the induction providers. The cells hold power. They're the battery. So the basic cells hold 400 million RF per cell. Okay, wrap your brain around that. The smallest one that you can possibly have holds 400 million RF per cell. We just built an 18 by 18 by 18 casing. How many of these cells can fit inside of that thing? Did your head just explode? Yeah, that's a lot of power. If we go up to the next one, 3.2 billion RF. Remember in Mekanism, GRF or Giga RF is equivalent to billion. So this is 3.2 billion RF per cell in an 18 by 18 by 18 structure. So the inside of the structure where you could actually put the cells is technically 16 by 16 by 16. 3.2 billion RF per cell. That's tier 2. There's 2 more tiers above that. Mind blown? Yeah, totally. The Elite, 25.6 billion RF per cell. Each cell in a 16 by 16 by 16 matrix. Hoy, yeah. The big dog, 204.8 billion RF per cell in a 16 by 16 by 16 matrix. You do the math and tell me this is not one heck of a big battery. But like we said, she's a resource-hungry beast. But you need to store the go-go juice. She'll store the go-go juice. All right, now let's finish this guy off. Come on. And last one there. Done. Now we got to do the bottom. Are we going to have enough? I don't think so. I think we're going to need to build some more. And we'll just go as far as we can go. And we're totally out. So we need probably another 100. Let's get those cooking. So you can see we're going to need 100 steel, 50 iron, 75 gold, 100 redstone. It's going to have to make 50 of the enriched alloy. I mean, it's a lot of stuff. And it's 10 times worse when we start getting into these ultimate, induction cells and ultimate providers. Now, the difference between the cell and the provider, the cell holds the power. Okay, it is the battery. The provider provides the power. It both accepts the power into the matrix and it pushes the power out of the matrix. And I'm like moving my hands like you folks can see what I'm talking about. I'm like pushing away from my body to show, pushes power, and I'm pulling into my body to show you that I'm pulling it in. And you can't see any of that, so I don't know why I'm doing that. But anyway, the provider pushes and pulls the power. The more providers you have, and the higher the tier of the provider, the more power you can take in at one time, and the more power you can push out at one time. And I'm still moving my hands. So the lowest tier provider can do 25.6 thousand RF. Okay, so basically it's able to, each provider can move 25.6 thousand RF per tick. So if you have two, that's roughly 52,000 RF ballpark. So the more you have, the more power you move. Now then you can move up in tiers. So the second tier, which is the advanced provider, can push out 204,000 RF. The elite can move 1.63 million. And the ultimate, 13.1 million. So if you put a whole bunch of 13.1 millions in there, you can move a boatload of power at one time. Tons and tons and tons. So it's a balance. You decide in your matrix what you're going to fill this thing with. A whole bunch of cells in one provider, a whole bunch of providers and a couple cells, or some combination in the middle, some mix in the middle. It's very flexible. It lets you build it to meet whatever your needs are. And that wasn't even close to enough. What was I thinking? I wasn't thinking. That's part of my problem. Wasn't even close to thinking. I'm just like, we gotta make more. Got to make more. Let's just make another 100. We gotta make we gotta make ports anyway. So there is no way we're gonna get to the cells and the providers today. Okay, that's just be clear on that. That's gonna roll into the next episode. Because there's more material we need to make. There's material we haven't yet made that we're gonna need to make in order to do this. Boop. There we go. So this is a full-size induction matrix. We just can't send or receive power yet because, well, we don't have any ports on here. We don't have any cells or providers in here. Let's get some lights on it. Ooh, that was loud in my ear. Because we don't want the mobbies. So, we'll go right there. Trying to keep it lined up. Oop, too close. There we go. That is not unreasonable. Might be a little dark here on the corners. I think we'll pop some down here that are not necessarily centered, since there isn't a center. But at least it'll be lit up. Now, for now, I am gonna turn it off by popping those out, and I'm gonna throw some lights. I don't think with it on, I mean it was active even though there were no cells or providers. You saw the red sparkles when I set it up. So I don't think mobs would actually spawn in here while it's on. But I'm just gonna light it up anyway for best practice. Now, that I think will do it for today. We built a massive induction, the start of our induction matrix. And next time, when we come back, we're going to work on the parts we need to build this. We're going to work on the lithium dust. This is the part we don't have yet that we need to make before we can start producing the cells and the providers. We got to have lithium dust. And then we're going to start producing the ultimate providers and ultimate cells. But that will be in the next episode. So, unfortunately, that is all the time I got for today, but I sure do appreciate you guys coming to hang out with me, as always, as we sit inside our new induction matrix, one of the biggest power batteries in the game. And until next time, get out there and make some noise. See ya.